channel, in partnership with DW, presents the 77%.
This is your platform
where we talk about everything that affects us, the youth.
Let's talk about
depression,
illegal migration and human trafficking. Let's talk about sex.
I don't get it.
Why won't Africans speak openly about this topic?
Jesus.
Seriously.
We make up over 3/4 of Africa, the under 35s.
We are the 77%.
Africa's young generation.
Views channel, in partnership with DW, presents the 77%.
This is your platform
where we talk about everything that affects us, the youth.
Let's talk about
depression,
illegal migration and human trafficking. Let's talk about sex.
I don't get it.
Why won't Africans speak openly about this topic?
Jesus.
Seriously.
We make up over 3/4 of Africa, the under 35s.
We are the 77%.
Africa's young generation. It is shaping the continent with innovations, political participation, and new ideas. But the 77% are facing many issues. Join our hosts as they engage you with thought-provoking topics.
We are a community and we help each other.
The 77% showing at 9 p.m. Sunday on Views channel, channel 108 on Star Times. Views channel, in partnership with DW, presents the...
Creatives can now showcase their skill and talent to the world.
Growing up for me was what actually informed my choice of photography.
Role model, one of who is Osi KJ. I love his interpretation of his role.
Don't touch me, you demon!
He's an amazing guy. He's very slick, easygoing. I have a relationship with him, so I know that this guy, he means business.
Don't miss out as they get to reveal what makes them unique.
What makes me unique from other rappers? A kind of creativity, how I construct my lyrics.
Sharing their journey and why they are the next big thing you should look out for.
I should be a World Press Photo Award winner in 5 years.
We're working really hard to make sure 3 years time Body Black will be a brand already.
Hi guys, my name is James Jiboma. I'm an actor and commercial model. I am the next one you should look out for.
Next one, showing at 1:30 p.m. Wednesdays and Saturdays on Views channel, channel 108 on Star Times.
Hello and good evening, people. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing really good. And how was the week? I believe it was beautiful, right? And you took charge of it. You're welcome to yet another wonderful episode of the Mental Health Journey Career, and I have a wonderful and awesome co-host with me.
Hi, I'm Fumi Taiwo, a clinical psychologist by profession, telling you you're in good hands. It promises to be a wonderful and exciting time on the show once again. So come along with us. This is the show, Unbroken.
Welcome back, and it's still the show on Unbroken, where everything mental health is discussed. I want to share a quote with you, which speaks a lot to me. And it says, you can recover. It's a hard and ongoing road, but it can be done. It's a quote from a sexual assault survivor. And if you're wondering who a sexual assault is or what sexual abuse is, according to goodtherapy.org, sexual abuse is any form of sexual violence, which includes rape, child molestation, incest, and similar forms of non-consensual sexual contact. We cannot deny the fact that a lot of our friends, a lot of people have been sexually abused at one point in their lives. And at that point, they felt that all hope was lost. Like it or not, sexual violence is very much prevalent in our society today, particularly this one, rape. To back this up, the police command of Gombe State says that it had received over 250 report cases of rape across the state in 2020. According to the Commissioner of Police, Michael Deshew, he says that the suspects, over 200 suspects, have been charged to court over rape-related issues, while the perpetrators are usually above the ages of 50 years old and the victims between the ages of 3 and 6.
And Joy, I can bet it with you that those are just the reported cases.
Yes,
there
sure.
are thousands of cases unreported, swept under the carpet in the home and workplaces.
Sure.
And that's why tonight our heart goes out to those people who had experienced sexual assault at one point or the other. On this show today, we'll be discussing rape.
Yes.
And its silent culture and the impact on mental health.
Indeed, rape is silent culture and its impact on mental health. And you too can be a part of the show by either calling us or reaching out to us across our social media platforms at Views Channel 108 on Twitter and Instagram. Also, Views Channel on Facebook and YouTube.
So, I have the singular honor
yes, she does.
of introducing our guest for tonight. I'm excited that he's in the house with us.
Yes.
It's someone synonymous to numerous achievements in the field of mental health.
Yes.
He's a cognitive behavioral therapist. He's an addictive recovery therapist.
Yes.
And also he studied psychiatry nursing in the prestigious University of Coventry at United Kingdom.
Yeah.
I welcome with me no other person but Mr. Shagu Matthews. We're excited to have you.
Like me, so happy to just call your names and everything that happens. Like, oh my goodness.
It's a pleasure, really.
Okay.
Thank you.
How are you doing, Mr. Shagu?
Very good. I feel very good.
It's our custom here to actually ask how is your mental health. So please, how is your mental health?
Yeah, I think my mental at the moment is stable, is settled, and I think is good, and I'm an optimal level of functioning.
Wow! So on a scale of 1 to 5, let's give it a number.
Maybe I could take 4.
Oh, that's accurate.
Yes, good one.
So right about now, we'll be sharing with you a short video clip about a lady named Tonya, an audacious, victorious tale over sexual assault. Please, let's watch.
My name is Antonia Jane Agbon. I'm an entrepreneur. I also run a support group for rape survivors because I'm a survivor too. I'm married. I've been married for 17 years. I have 3 children. I had gone through a childhood trauma, that's child sexual abuse, that affected me so much because I'd suffered from the psychological effects, depression, flashbacks, suicide, ideation, overeating, guilt and shame. I didn't get help on time. First time it happened was on the 23rd of September 1992, and it was by my uncle. So every time we get to the month of September, I always have this flashback. I become severely depressed. I thought that getting married and having children would take away all this, then starting a business, but it didn't. I became schizophrenic at a point. I started hearing voices. Not just voices telling me that I wasn't good enough, voices telling me to kill myself, to end it, that this life is not worth it. The first time I tried to take my life in 2012, I already have 3 children. That voice kept telling me that I was not a good mother. And I would tell my husband, and I would tell him that when I die, you need to marry a good girl. So I would tell him, but he actually didn't understand what I was saying. You know, one day I just asked him, I said, is suicide a sin? He said, yes. Then he looked at me and he said, who wants to commit suicide? I said, nobody. So that evening, we had our annual conference in church. I took my children to the pharmacy beside my house. I bought the drugs that I was going to take. But because in my faith, suicide is a sin and you go to hellfire, I didn't want to go to hellfire. So I concluded within myself that I was going to go to church, ask God for forgiveness and end it. We got to church that day and the minister was invited. And as the man picked up the microphone, the first thing he said was that the spirit of suicide was hovering around the church. And if you know that you're suicidal, come out. A lot of people came out. And he said, the person hasn't come out. Then he said the person bought the medication they want to take before they come to church this evening. Of course, I knew he was talking to me. Now, the clock there is, I'm a worker in my church. I'm an usher in church. And my husband works with the senior pastor. How am I going to walk out of that congregation At that point, I began to feel shame. I began to judge myself because I know that I will be judged for being faithless. I'm going to come out like I want to assist the pastor, so people will really love the word. But you know what? Immediately I took the first step. The man just said, "Thank you, Jesus." The head of Usher looked at me and said, "Usher, you too, you want to kill yourself." At that point, I broke down and I started crying. I got better again. Then in 2015, I relapsed again. I got used to the voices that told me I wasn't good enough. You know, I was just in front of the mirror getting ready to go to my shop, and I just heard that voice. And the voice just said, "Antonia, you know what? This life is not worth it. Finish it up. Finish it up." But by this time, I didn't want to die again. Called Dr. Nimuna Kadiri immediately. She has a mental health man. I was ashamed to tell her that I needed help, but I was still ashamed of facing the world. 3 days at the mental health home, they started asking me for the contact of somebody they would talk to. I told them I was not going to give them my husband's number. The matron was able to convince me to give them the name of somebody. I was still ashamed. I didn't give them my husband's name. Despite the support he has given me over the years. I called his best friend. He said, "Antonia, where are you?" I said, "I'm not around." He said, "Where are you?" I said, "I don't want to tell anybody where I was." "Tell me the address of where you are. I won't tell anybody, I promise." Then I took an injection and I slept off. Woke up the following morning and I opened my eyes. My husband, my favorite Auntie Biola, and my husband's best friend, they were in front of me. My husband just said, "Tonya, why? I thought we were in this together." And he just started crying. My husband said, "Tonya, I thought we were walking this journey together." And I said to him, "You've been so good to me. Getting healing and help is one of the best things you can do for yourself. I've been hypertensive for 14 years. I take medication every day." Survivors need to understand that the journey to wellness is not easy. And what it will cost you to hold that grudge is very expensive. My name is Antonia Ojenagon. I am a survivor of child sexual abuse. I run a support group for rape survivors called Tonya Bruised But Not Broken. I am unbroken.
You're welcome back, and it's still the show Unbroken. We discuss everything mental health, and today's topic is rape, its silent culture, and its impact on mental health. The phone lines are up, so you can call in right now. 0708 318 3892 is the number to call in to air your questions and give your contributions. We'll be glad to hear from you.
Yes, Mr. Shogun, we're glad you are here to help us do justice to some of the questions we posed to you, so that our people, our viewers at home, can learn from all of this. So, I'm thinking about it. A lot of time, there's a lot of emphasis on the victim. Maybe you didn't walk well, the color of the clothes you wore is too short, you were drunk. You know, a lot of things about the victim. I want to ask you, can you help us? Can you enlighten us on what is going on in the mind of a rapist? Is it love? Is it lust? Is it a threat? What is it?
I think that story is quite very touching. Yes, yeah, it's quite very touching. I hear such story on a regular basis, and each person's case is quite very unique to them, and the impact it has on the survivor is quite very unique. But now, the first focus on the rapist. Obviously, there's a word I use behind that is quite very hard, but one thing, because I just sinking the message. Majority of the time, the rapist is also a damaged person. So as hard as that sounds, the rapist is usually is a person that is not functioning at a healthy level. There are quite 3 different types of rapists. We have some people we call the opportunists.
Okay.
The opportunists are the people that, you know, they just had the opportunity, they saw a vulnerable person, they took an advantage of the person.
Okay.
They are situational rapists. The situational rapists are the people where they find themselves in the situation probably, and they are in the mood, they are conjured, and they needed to do something, and they see a vulnerable person. And there are other people that they are the people that they are the planned predators. These people, they are serial. They plan the event.
Yes.
They set out for the vulnerable person, and those are the people that usually like called the really damaged people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they look out for vulnerable people too?
Some people, they are serial rapists.
Oh, so it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, they are serial rapists. It's just their way of life. They know how to get their victim. They are just predators.
Wow.
And they prey on people that they feel they are vulnerable. Okay, there is a case I'm handling at the moment. Okay. A very naive young lady. She was probably it happened during just about it because she just delivered from the rape. She's had a baby now.
She had a baby as a
result
result
of the rape. So she was suicidal, just like she mentioned. So it was when they called the school. She's in the university. She's in the university. It's when they call off. They were going to call the lockdown, and she went to this guy thinking, there's going to the strike. We're going to be on strike. Maybe I could get a job to do. And you know that this guy, I think that was an opportunity because this guy that she knew this guy, but not very closely. But this guy promised her she can help her with a job, and she raped her. Wow. And he raped her. And she's naive, so you can imagine she's naive, she's vulnerable, so she was exploited because obviously I say that this girl, she
doesn't know anything.
She don't understand still, and then he took advantage of her, and she had a baby. She didn't even know
that she was pregnant.
She didn't even know until she started seeing signs of pregnancy. So you see people like that, she's quite vulnerable, even though she was 21 at that time. She's about 22 now.
All you're saying to me, vulnerable seems. From your explanation to us, vulnerable seems constant. Vulnerable. So, be it a planned predator or an opportunist or a situational rapist, they're all looking for vulnerable people.
Vulnerable people, yes.
Wow.
There are incidences where armed robber goes to burgle the house and they see the residents and they feel that, at that time, those people are vulnerable.
That's right.
So there is an issue of I have a power over you that I can intimidate. Because rape comes with some intimidation, either coercing, intimidating, or the person does not even have capacity to even consent to the sexual activity.
Okay, sir. Let me ask this question. It seems similar to the first one, but I believe that if we can have answer to it, it will enlighten a lot of people and it will set us on the right course. What can we say? We know rape has to do with sexual intercourse with one forceful person and someone who is not consenting, and it's Now, what are the causes of rape? What are the causes of the vulnerable to to buckle up and to recognize even if we see someone?
Okay, the rape cases is getting so prevalent now. And I think with the COVID and the lockdown that happened recently,
yes, sir,
it even escalated incidences.
Yeah.
And because this COVID issue has brought a lot of uniqueness to mental health issue. And we will agree with me that cases of rape reported from the period of the lockdown till now, because people they just find themselves and the level of functionality is quite very. Dysfunctionality is just everywhere now. And a lot of people will probably, when things are not going right in the brain, in the mind, obviously some abnormal behavior will be out there.
Okay.
And vulnerable people, they are prey to be manipulated, to be taken advantage of. And rape is one of the ways where people vent out things that are going on in them. Especially when you don't just remember the word I use, damage people. The people that are dysfunctional. Okay, the core root where rape comes from, the trigger for rape is somebody growing up dysfunctionally. And once you've grown up dysfunctionally, you're going to see some abnormal things, and those are the pattern of behavior you probably pick up. So these are people that pick up abnormal behavior, behavioral problems, and that's the way they express.
Okay, sir, let me cut you. Okay. Are you saying now, my question was the cause of rape.
Hold it there for me. Please, the phone lines are still up. 0708, rather 0706 318 3892 is the number to call to reach us here on the show. And you can also, don't forget, reach out to us across our social media platforms displayed on the screen at Fuse Channel. You can continue.
Okay, so I'm saying, do you mean the situation we're in generally in the world, the pandemic, the lockdown, is one of the causes of, heightened cases?
Yeah, that's one of it. Okay, like you're a clinician, so rather than use these rape cases that we hear these days,
okay,
that's one of them. Another one, I use another one, risk factor.
Okay.
Another one is the issue of this culture. Culture is a big one.
All right, just to add to that cultural part. Now, we all know in Nigeria here that I think it's a universal, popular norm that when a man is married to a lady, the body belongs to the lady, and the lady's body belongs to the man. Now, in that context, can you say rape can happen in
yes, those kind of mindset influences. It can stimulate. Okay, there's this cultural thing in Africa where they believe that men are generally sex men are, and there's this kind of thing where they feel that when a man is in the mood.
Oh, I think it's a phone call.
Hello.
Yeah, you were your phone first caller for tonight. Hello, good
evening.
What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Felix.
Sorry, I didn't get your name. Can you say it again?
My name is Felix.
Philip. Okay, where are you calling from, Philip?
I'm calling from Bagada.
Are you still there?
Yes, from Bagada.
Oh, so sorry, lost that. But please, Philip,
hello, can you
call back and we're happy and love to hear from you.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Matthew.
So yes, cultural thing, it is believed that because of Africa, we are somehow polygamous in nature.
Yes, we are.
And even though as because of the modern time we are now, even though polygamy is not encouraged. But
okay, so sorry for that loss again. All right, hello, good evening. Welcome to the show. What is your name?
Hello, Felix calling back.
Are you still there?
Hello, Felix calling back.
Okay, please, can you hold on? Hello?
Hello, good evening. This is Felix.
Okay, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Please, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Bagada.
All right, Bagada, please, what's your question or contribution?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
What is your question or contribution to the show?
Yes, first of all, I want to say amazing show.
Thank you very much.
The topic coincidentally is quite very interesting. It's Mother's Day today. It's International Women's Week.
Mother's Day, yes.
This month too. So I mean, it's all about the superwomen out there, right? So my little contribution is to the conversation is that please, whatever we do, let's just be very careful. I mean, there are loads of cases of rape, unreported rape.
That's true.
If you look into it, it's so much. So first of all, I think we need to talk to the male counterpart. Women are meant to be respected. They are meant to be loved. Okay. They are not object of sex or something. So I think with this little contribution of mine, I want to say thank you to you guys for doing justice to the guest. Amazing. I think I'm very, very much enjoying this, and I'd like to hear more as I stay online to watch.
Thank you very much for that contribution. Wow. But there's something you forgot to point out. It's not only ladies that are raped. Guys too are also raped, right? So in that context, while you're answering the question about the rape in marriage, you can also point that out.
Okay.
To add more light to it.
Okay. Yeah. Rape is any sexual intercourse that is not consented to.
Yes.
So it could happen in marriage as well. Yeah. So if one of the couple is not consenting to a sexual engagement, just that society is the cultural thing.
Yes, it is.
We keep into this cultural thing. And there is this something about culture that believes that ladies are supposed to say no to sex, and the men are supposed to try harder. Yeah. And no does not mean
that when they say no,
yes,
this
they mean
they couldn't even look themselves nakedly in the mirror, and it was like an abnormal. Imagine those kind of a thing. And when somebody now touch you inappropriately, and you don't even know how to manage it because you've not been educated. You've not been educated. And also all these things we have on social media these days, where a lot of people are just putting all their nude and their boobs, everything. Somehow this is also stimulating some kind of abnormal behavior.
Okay, but it's not a way of actually expressing oneself. Like, this is what I'm going through, and probably there's help out there.
And also, you know, indecent dressing is a factor as well.
Okay.
And also dysfunctional background. A lot of people that are quite vulnerable, a lot of the young people that are very young people they were raped or they were sexually assaulted. They were people that, you know, there's something that probably the parents or single parenthood that the mother goes about striving to take care of the children, leave the children with vulnerable people. And they are not even too sensitive to some changes in the child's behavior. And this thing perpetuates, you know, it just makes the thing continue to happen. So a lot of factors.
Okay.
And basically,
I still need to ask, because in that issue of indecent dressing, I know there's a lot of arguments about it, because this story I actually watched, and the lady mentioned that she was going out, that somewhere in Enugu, she was going out, she wore these shorts, and a lot of guys were touching her and groping her. She felt video insulted about a woman being. And the man mentioned that, did I mention something? Let me recall. Yes, that. Why you were waiting, you wear. And she said, so are you saying that my dressing is consent to this? And the man said, because of what I wore. So many at times, people don't really see that as consent. They tell you, for the fact that I'm dressed this way doesn't mean it's consent. So how do you address that?
yeah, the reality is that the person that dressed like that, she has a reason for dressing like that. But that does not excuse the fact that you should assault the person. But the reality is that those kind of dressing as well, there's a message is sent to the rapist. Okay, some robbers, they burgle the building, and there's no intention to rob, and for some reason they just see somebody that is nude.
Yes.
And people fast to assault indecent people that are dressing. No, but the reality is that those kind of dresses too, they are stimulation for some they triggers this kind of abnormal behavior.
Wow,
is people that has problem.
Triggers. Wow, there has been so much in the house. Yes. And right now we're going on a short break. But when we return, we'll continue this conversation on rape, its silent culture, and the impact on mental health. Please don't go anywhere.
This is your platform
where we talk about everything that affects us, the youth.
Let's talk about
Depression,
illegal migration and human trafficking. Let's talk about sex.
I don't get it.
Why won't Africans speak openly about this topic?
Jesus.
Seriously.
We make up over 3/4 of Africa.
We are the 70s.
The continent with innovations, political participation, and new ideas. But the 77% are facing many issues. Join our hosts as they engage you with thought-provoking topics.
We are a community and we help each other.
The 77% showing at 9 p.m. Sunday on Views Channel, Channel 108 on Star Times.
Do you really want to slay your face? You can do without contour. Powder palettes that has different shades of powder. And a black pencil under the eye. You don't have to wear heavy makeup to look beautiful. Every gele has a length of 100. When I try to turn it, I would have excess. This is what's training, and you're done.
Creatives can now showcase their skill and talent to the world.
Growing up for me was what actually informed my choice of photography.
Role model, one of who is also KJ. I love his interpretation of his roles.
Don't touch me, you demon!
He's an amazing guy. He's very slick, easygoing. I have a relationship with him, so I know that this guy, he means business.
Don't miss out as they get to reveal what makes them unique.
What makes me unique from other rappers? A kind of creativity, how I create.
Sharing their journey and why they are the next big thing you should look out for.
I should be a World Press Photo Award winner in 5 years.
We're working really hard to make sure 3 years time Body Black will be a brand already.
Hi guys, my name is James, commercial model. I am the next one you should look out for.
Next one, showing at 1:30 p.m. Wednesdays and Saturdays on Fuse Channel, Channel 108 on Star Time.
Welcome back from that break, and it's still the show Unbroken, where we discuss everything mental health. Today's topic still remains rape, its silent culture, and its impact on mental health. Don't forget you can call us 0706 318 3892. Is the number to call to reach us here on set. Don't forget also you can reach out to us across our social media platforms at Views Channel 108 on Twitter and Instagram, also Views Channel on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so this question is going to be directed to Fumi.
Okay.
She's also a clinical psychologist.
Yes, I hear.
All right, Fumi, now research shows that 10% of people who happen to be perpetrators of this rape crimes are usually outsiders, strangers.
Okay.
Just like you said, opportunists, they see this, they happen, or situationists. But 90% of people happen to be family and friends. They are within that circle where they can actually say, hey, how are you doing, fine girl? And they carry out the act. Now I want to ask, why is that so? Why is it that these rape cases are more familiar with familiar faces other than the strangers? And what impact does it have on the victims?
Okay, thank you so much, Joy, for the question. And I believe that Mr. Shegun had actually helped us a great deal in answering this kind of question. Like, it has been observed that across all the three types of rapists that was mentioned, there's something central, vulnerability. They're looking for people who are vulnerable. Research even showed that the younger the victim are, the higher the possibility is a family member. So they're actually looking for people who are indeed vulnerable, and there will be no aftermath even when they perpetrated the evil.
But that's the reason why they go for youngsters.
They go for people, they are looking for familiar environment too. They are looking for what they are used to. They are looking for people who they have groomed. There's something called grooming in all of these experiences, whereby you've been nice to your victim over the time. So they are trusting you. And you have a desire in your heart to carry out to assail them, the act against them. But they don't know. They just give sweet to a young child. You show to the parent that you are supportive so they can release them to you at will. I even have a case whereby the man usually have three sisters coming to stay when their parents are not around. And then he will tell them that anyone who does not behave well or does not have good score in school will not be part of our game, while he will be touching them. So everybody will be behaving well at home. I don't want uncle to remove me from the game. And it was touching them inappropriately. So I believe that the assailants to many a times they are cowards. They are seeking dominance, except for the very damaged ones that maybe it's in their head, some chemical secretion. They're looking for people who are vulnerable, and they are setting the stage. That's why we have the issue of people committing these acts against family members.
Mr. Shegun, just like what she said, just something similar. Now, based on what Tonya said, so is it in all cases that you have voices for those that are actually rape victims? They have voices, they have self-blame. What exactly is going on in the mind of the person who has been violated?
Okay, like what Antonia said, you know, she was diagnosed of psychosis. So because she was diagnosed of psychosis, obviously she was responding. So psychosis, we try not to use some words anymore because these are the words that bring
labeling,
misconception, and
that's
stigma.
right. That's
so
right.
Those are the psychosis is what you people generally call, as much as I'm struggling to say, it's what people generally call crazy. When somebody is crazy.
Yeah, weary.
You know, the person is mad, you know. So what happens is with a psychosis, the person is hearing voices. Okay. It could be internal voices, it could be external voices. So we said the person is responding to stimuli. The stimuli is that through the five senses, which are our eyes, our ears, our nose, our taste organ, and the touch. And the person can get messages. So like yesterday, she was hearing voices. So she was hearing abnormal voices through the audio, through the ears. And what happened is, rape is a traumatic experience.
That's right.
It's a traumatic experience. So when trauma happens, it can trigger diverse mental illnesses. So one of the mental illness that it triggered for her was psychosis and depression. And it went extreme case, she was suicidal.
Sir, do you mean when it is not supported? When help is not sorted on time, it can degenerate to
It can
such.
escalate, it can get worse and become, and go to the extreme case. Suicide.
That's the worst.
The person attempts or they kill themselves.
Mm.
So that's the worst case scenario.
That's really deep. That's really deep.
So for every rape victim, do we have PSTD attached to it?
Not every. For some people, for some reason, it's not everybody that is raped that get that traumatized. Some people, for some reason, in God's mercy and grace, some people somehow they just find, because there's something in human being called self-efficacy, the ability to heal from inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bounce back a bit.
Psychological, and it's also physical. So some people, they get raped maybe through their church network. They hear preaching. They see people around them, even though they didn't talk about it. They could get healing from some unknown places. Maybe the support system they go around them. And for many people, maybe probably I would say for majority, it can cause them a lot of issues. And the issues from the mind to moderate to severe or to fatal. Wow. So it depends on that person's ability to cope, to manage with that traumatic experience.
Wow. Wow.
It has been so, I've learned so much in just a little span of time. Indeed, when it comes to rape, I've heard cases, I've heard so much cases of people. This particular story that was shared on TV about this young lady who was assaulted by her brother's friend. Now the man would come to the house, will play, and the mom thought probably, as my brother's friend is her son's friend, so there was nothing wrong. He comes to the house, touches the girl inappropriately, he goes, like it was very, very accommodating.
It's grooming, that's where it's
my
going.
point. And he comes in and he touches the girl, and he wants to say something, but the guy has threatened that if you say anything right now, you're going to be in big trouble. So she keeps quiet. And whenever the guy comes in, he's my my son's friend. He comes in and does it in the house. And nothing was done to him until she got pregnant. And she had to go over to the house of the guy. Now she told him, I'm going to so-and-so person's place. And he was, oh, it's your brother's friend, you can go. And that was how the girl died. The guy took her somewhere, some lady pregnancy. Yeah. So this issue of rape is really, 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 really serious. Like, we need to really put an end to it. So right about now, we've got another break, but when we return back, we'll continue this conversation on rape. It's not ended. You can call in 0706-318-3892 to get on the show. You can also send in your questions and contributions across our social media platforms at Views Channel 108 on Twitter and Instagram, also Views Channel on Facebook and YouTube.
Creatives can now showcase their skill and talent to the world.
Growing up for me was what actually informed my choice of photography.
Role model, one of who is OC KJ. I love his interpretation of his roles.
Don't touch me, you demon!
He's an amazing guy. He's very slick, easygoing. I have a relationship with him, so I know that this guy, he means business.
Don't miss out as they get to reveal what makes them unique.
What makes me unique from other rappers, a kind of creativity, how I construct my lyrics.
Sharing their journey and why they are the next big thing you should look out for.
I should be a World Personal Award winner in 5 years.
We're working really, really hard to make sure 3 years time Body Black will be a brand already.
Hi guys, my name is James Jiboma. I'm an actor and commercial model. I am the next one you should look out for.
Next one, showing at 1:30 p.m. Wednesdays at Views Channel, Channel 108 on Star Time.
Views Channel, in partnership with DW, presents the 77%.
This is your platform
where we talk about everything that affects us, the youth.
Let's talk about
Depression,
illegal migration and human trafficking. Let's talk about sex.
I don't get it.
Why won't Africans speak openly about this topic?
Jesus.
Seriously.
We make
make up over 3/4 of Africa, the under 35s.
We are the 77%.
Africa's young generation. It is shaping the continent with innovations, political participation, and new ideas. But the 77% are facing many issues. Join our hosts as they engage you with thought-provoking topics.
We are a community and we help each other.
The 77% showing at 9 p.m. Sunday on Views Channel, Channel 108 on
Welcome back, guys. So excited to be here again on the segments to share with you the tips. This is the top tips segment, and I'll be sharing some tips with you on how to recover from sexual abuse or trauma. So I hope you are ready for me. You're going to learn on the segment, so ready to write. So we go. Tip number 1. Open up on what has happened to you. I know that's difficult. It's easier said than done. But you have to understand that that's the beginning to recovery. That is the beginning on the recovery process. So it's easy to keep it to yourself and to manage it by yourself, but it is equally damaging. So how do we go from here? Look for someone that is trustworthy, someone that you personally trust, someone that is empathic, someone that is supportive, and someone that is calm. If you cannot find anybody like that around you, no, it's time to reach out for professional support. Tip number 2 says, cope with the feeling of guilt and shame. The fear you had for not opening up is labeling, accusation from people not believing you. But now, a voice coming from within you and condemning you. You too, you shouldn't have gone that way. You too, you shouldn't have worn that clothes. You were drunk that night. You agreed to an extent. Whatever was the case before you were assaulted, you deserve to be treated the right way. Nobody has the right to rape you. So settle that in your heart. Put responsibility at the right quarters. It belongs to the person who raped you. It's not your responsibility that you were raped. Okay? So let that go. Let that go. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 says, manage flashbacks, nightmares, and unpleasant memories. They will come. It's a lie if we tell you that you will just be fine all of a sudden. There will be flashbacks. But see, as we are preparing you for it, as we are enlightening you about it, that is just flashback and it's going to go in a while. So it's a time to self-soothe. It's a time to do your breathing exercise. It's a time for you to ground yourself where you are. Look around where you are. Say the name of the place you are. Set the day of the date. And mention 3 things you can see, just to remind your mind you were not at the place of the assault. It's just a flashback. Okay, number 4 tip says reconnect. Reconnect to your feelings and to your body. Oh, the body has been defiled, it's so dirty. And somewhere in you don't want to have anything to do with the body any longer. So you are in the corner of yourself, watching your own life floating before you. You are not participating any longer, you are just an observer. You cannot differentiate between the feelings of pains and the feelings of pleasure. Sometimes people take even more alcohol because they don't want to get in touch with reality. See, if you do not align your mind with your body, you will just be floating. You will not achieve anything. You will waste a lot of times. Realize it's time for you to get in touch back with your feeling and with your body. If you can do that, you will become powerful. So how do you do this? Rhythmic exercise can help you. It's time, rhythmic movements, rhythmic exercises can help you. It feels like, as if, what are we talking about? Dancing to rhythm movements, marching. It can help you. Go for massage, so it can open you up to human touch again, because now you may find it very difficult to open up to human touch. These tips I've shared with you, I hope that they are going to be helpful when you think about them. In case you've gone through all of them and it seems they are not being helpful to you, remember, it's time to reach out for professional support. It's time to reach out to people who are trained to help in such a situation as this. And if you would have any need or any any want, you can reach out to us at Olamma Cares Foundation. You can send an email to support@olammacares.com, and you can reach out to us across all our social media platforms at Olamma Cares. Till I come your way on this segment next time, remember, your mental health is your responsibility.
Okay, thank you very much for those testimonies. They speak a lot to me. Not because I am a victim, no, but I know a lot of people that have gone through similar situations and they feel like, how can I get out of it? How can I tell myself that, okay, I can actually go forward from this point?
That's right.
All right, so right now we have a post from Instagram, and it's from Idris Shade Tutu. And Idris Shade Tutu says, hello, good evening. This is such a sensitive topic that needs to be emphasized more. Society should teach their children basic defense and enlightenment. A quick question. I have a friend who was raped by a cousin and later by a first boyfriend, I'm sorry. She seemingly turned out fine, just that she's a sexual addict now who craves rough and violent sex. Would you say such a person is mentally okay?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, I have a few cases like that. Sometimes, like I said, when these things happen, you don't know what kind of abnormality is going to stay in that person.
Yes.
And some of them can. There's a girl that she's fat. She gets so attracted to babies that she wants to mess up with their penis. And for that reason, she avoids going to her friends. There's even a lady that she got so addicted to sex that she even paid for the hotel rooms to meet her. And once you just tell her that, babe, you are really sexy, it turns.
That's all.
And then she's been paying for hotel rooms.
Wow, that's actually very
And because she was raped from the age of 8, and it happened till she was 13.
Wow.
So this thing can trigger all form of abnormal behavior.
So those are the ones you call the damaged rapists.
Yeah, no, she wasn't a rapist, but it was just it has caused her a lot of psychological problems.
I get it.
It has caused her. So like Antonia mentioned, it could cause all kind of. What is mental illness? Mental illness has some behavior that is quite very abnormal to the normal functionality. So in a simple time like that. So those kind of traumatic experience, because a lot of those people, they use like that sex addiction. She uses it to cope with the flashback, with the memory, when she recalls that experience, and she uses that, it's triggered those hormones. But you need to realize that a lot of these young people, at the age of 8, 10, when the sexual hormones they are not ripe enough to be touched. So at that time, it was violently triggered. And so it will cause some kind of abnormality in the release of the hormone when they grow up. And that's why you see that a lot of people that have issue with sexual at the time, they've been sexually abused pre that period.
Now, I need to ask about the silent culture. A lot of people don't come out to say, this will happen to me. For those who even come out to say, it's like, Now, what will you say about the silent culture?
I think I really commend you guys for bringing this kind of, because if we have more of shows like this, more of this enlightenment, it will help you, because it will help to reduce the labeling and the stigma that comes with this silencing. Because people go silent when they are raped for so many reasons. Some of them, they believe it reduces their chances of getting a suitor.
Yeah, that's true.
Yesterday or 2 days ago, I read Iyabo Ojo mentioned that she was raped, and she has only talked about it probably about 2 or 3 times in her life, and she's in her 40s because she couldn't even tell anybody. And he said whenever she talks about it, it causes her a lot of trauma. And and that's one of the things the predator, the offender, because they want to so much manipulate the person that you mustn't talk. And it is when they start talking that is a part of the recovery process.
That's right.
So I really like the tip, that because it's part of the recovery process is to start talking. Talk to people that, and I think parents, they have a lot to do in this.
That's right, parenting, it's a big deal here.
A lot of them, when the children have told their parents, they didn't even manage it well.
And yes, the top probably they were lying, they keep quiet.
Even when they don't think like that, sometimes I've seen a case whereby they just go silent. They didn't know how to, they didn't address it.
Yes.
And it's communicating something to the
Yes.
child. I'm not that important. If that could happen to me and you did not, another psychological, avoidance, personality,
Escapism.
dysfunctionality.
Yes.
So you can say that that's actually an effect. Those are the impacts.
It is.
On
It is.
the mental health of
Because,
the
like, for example, a lot of people that I see now, when they get to this stage and when they get older, and they are so hungry towards their parents because they felt the parents didn't protect them. They didn't even see the signs. They were not sensitive. Even though they couldn't talk, they didn't see this change, the abnormality in that child. Because the child was only communicating somehow.
Yes.
You're trying to have it to bat your child. She's quite very sensitive. She's behaving somehow, and they believe and they feel that when they get mature, they're thinking, my mother didn't even say this. I was trying to say something. I was trying to give clue. And she didn't even get it because a lot of times those parents they seem very insensitive. And the child, when they grow up, they are not even that upset with the offender, with the rapist. They are even more upset and angry towards their parents.
That's right.
Because they feel that they are the one that made them vulnerable, because they were not well protected, and they are the one that pushed them to those people. Go and meet uncle, go and meet this person. Even though when she doesn't want to go. And the mother is not, the dad is not seeing the sign that, why is this girl?
Mr. Shago, to cut you, I've known someone, I know you know the person too, that advocacy really helped. She had been raped severally, and she turned so bad, and some family member felt, why are you bad? And she opened up to one of them, and the person said, everywhere you have been raped, I'm going to follow you there. And the person was going to every door and saying, we are bringing police to you. The lady felt so relieved, like somebody listened to me, somebody cared at last.
She's been communicating that over the years. So she said she's been communicating it indirectly, and they didn't get it. They were not sensitive enough to catch the clue.
So this just was the fact that, please, parents, guardians, people who are out there, whenever your word, be it a guy, be it a girl, says, hey, mommy, this is what is happening to me. Indirectly, that's with verbal communication or non-verbal communication. I think you need to listen. We need to start opening our sensory organs. That's just like you mentioned, the sight, the ear. Even the ones that we don't see, but we perceive that something's actually wrong. We should actually nib it at the bud before it becomes a societal menace, right? Okay, that's been so much interesting. Well, right now we want to round up the show. I didn't want the show to end, but it has to end. All right, so before we wrap up the show, any last word, Mr. Shago Matthews?
Yeah, like some of the tips that has been given. On the last note, if you feel overwhelmed with the traumatic experience from rape or any sexual abuse, I really suggest that you go talk to people, because talking is a part of the recovery process. Talk to people that you feel they are wise enough, they have the capacity to listen and to manage it well, or talk to an expert. It will go a long way to set recovery in the process.
That's right.
Awesome, beautiful.
Thank you.
It's not everybody that is mad, quote, that needs a psychologist.